learn fly stitch. We're going to work from the top to the bottom. So I'm going to start with a somewhat big-ish anchoring stitch on my working line. I'm going to come up on the left side about even with where my stitch begins. And then I'm going to go down in about the same position on the right side. And then to anchor this loop, I'm going to go back to my working line and go up where my first stitch ends. Pull tight. I'm always kind of pulling down because if I pull up, I'll pull too much slack and then it will look a little silly. So I'm going to come back down a stitch length on my working line, and let's do it again. So up on the left, down on the right. I'm going to hold this loop so I don't get carried away. Go back to my working line, come up where my previous stitch ends. And then we'll anchor it by coming down a stitch on the working line. So one thing we can play with is the length and the angle of these little arms. So I could come way far away at a pretty steep angle. Let's go back at a pretty steep angle over here. And then come back to my working line to anchor this stitch down. Again, remember I'm always pulling down so that I don't take out too much slack. Now, if I want these arms to be closer together, I don't have to take such a long anchoring stitch. So I'm going to come much shorter on my working line, pull that through, and then I could make these again. So you could use this as a fill stitch to make a leaf or fill in the roof of a house or whatever it is that you are playing with today. So there you can see them closer together. I could also make them further apart so I can come way down here. I don't have to make the left arm and the right arm the same either, so I can make this one long, this one short. I use this stitch most often for nature-y things, stalks of wheat, branches, twigs, to add a little whimsy. And so things aren't always even in nature either. So as you fill this part of your design however you want, if you want to do a few back stitches at the end, you can. And there you have fly stitch.